This is episode number 103 of the Life, Strength, and Health podcast, where it's our mission to help you to feel and look your best naturally. Kim here, and thank you for joining us this week. If you haven't had a chance to listen to our last episode, which was all about setting up your home for health success, just go to lifestrengthandhealth.com/102 to access that episode. And this episode's testimonial comes from Andrea J. And Andrea says, very nice place and atmosphere. Kim is very patient and kind during each service. I enjoy going every time. Thank you, Andrea, for those kind words, and we wish you much health success. So now let's segue into this week's organic food for thought. And this week's organic food for thought is on the power of being present. When it comes to achieving our health goals, we can be so hard on ourselves, and we are all pretty much driven by goals. You have a desire or a health goal to reach, right? And you want to focus on that goals. But the one thing about achieving health success, just like in any area of your life, success doesn't happen in a straight line. There's obstacles, challenges, ups and downs. You may feel overwhelmed. You may not truly believe. You might be frustrated. You have negative self-talk. You go into the mode of comparing yourself to others and beating yourself up. And a lot of times, sometimes this negative pattern of behavior causes you to give up and to quit. But the whole thing is, we have to bring our thoughts back to the present. We know the things that we may not like about ourselves in terms of health or anything for that matter. And you have an idea of pretty much where you want to go. You want to improve in some shape, form, or fashion. But the main thing is bringing your thoughts back to the present. Like, what can you do today to move that needle one step closer to your goal? We don't want to think 20 steps ahead, because if you have a lot of work to do and you think about all the work that must be done in order for you to accomplish your goal, it could become very overwhelming and it's not going to serve you. So the whole thing is, no matter how big or small, what can you do today or at this moment to help you move that needle one little inch closer to your goal? We don't want to think too far in the past of, I tried that and it didn't work. We want to leave that back there because that's living in the past. And we don't want to be too far in the future because we're going to get overwhelmed with, I got to do this, this, and this, and this. And you start wondering, can I do this? I'm busy. I'm stressed. I don't have the money. All these things come into your mind. And we have to bring our thoughts back to the present. What can you do today? What can you do right now to move you one step closer to your goal? Because health success is a culmination of good habits, and habits starts from small, daily, actionable steps. So what can you do today to move you in the right direction? That's all we can focus on. We can't worry too far about tomorrow. The past is the past. We learned from it. But when we just focus on now and we implement as much as we can now, no matter how big or how small, how do we move from there? And then we do one step and we do that consistently. And then that becomes a lifestyle change. It's something that you need to do because you want to feel good. And then you incorporate another step. And over time, when you come up for air and you look around, you said, wow, like I'm really implementing more healthy living habits, right? But it all comes to bringing your thoughts to the present. What can you do today? What can you do right now? Stop beating ourselves up. Stop getting overwhelmed with all the things we have to do. Start where you're at. Take small, daily, actionable steps and move one step closer to your goal. And I promise you, if you keep doing that, you'll start to form healthy habits. And these healthy habits will eventually turn into a lifestyle change. And I recently finished a book called The Talent Code: Unlocking the Secret of Skill in Math, Arts, Music, Sports, and just about everything else. And in that book, it just talks about not really focusing on negative patterns of behavior, but laying down the foundation of ones that you want. And that's how some of the most masterful people, whether it's in the music, arts, sports, what have you, they establish healthy habits and patterns through consistent practice or consistent implementation of certain things. I'll list that book in this week's show notes pages if you wanted to check that out. So now let's segue into this week's episode. The title of this week's episode is How to Survive the Holidays. And at the time of this recording, we just kicked off the holiday season, whether you celebrate Thanksgiving or not. We just passed through Thanksgiving, and during the holidays, it's a great way to spend time with family or friends, or just by yourself for some reflection, since most people are off during that holiday. The holiday season can represent that, but then there's some other maybe not so good things that happen during this time of year. There are a lot of holiday parties, depending on your profession or which you do. You have family functions, you have work functions. So at these holiday parties or during this time of year, there's specific holiday foods that are available. We are located in New Jersey. So in this part of the world, we have colder days. The days are getting shorter. The sun is not out as long. It gets darker sooner. And so all these things kind of lead up into you, becoming less active, right? This time of year, you want to kind of take it down and kind of go home and just chill out, just because it's just that time of year, this cycle of the year. And so with all that being said, couple you being inactive with the holiday parties and the holiday foods and everything. And it can be tough for a lot of people. There's a lot of people that, go through the holidays and they're perfectly fine. But this episode is for people who struggle during this time of year and I want to just give some tips on how to navigate through it. So when January rolls around, you can say, I had a great holiday season. You feel good about it and not move out of guilt and having to set that New Year's resolution, because you just felt like you just did so bad during the holiday season and you just you have to do better. You want to get through the holiday season on a high note, right? And so my first tip on helping you get through the holiday season is to pick your spots. And what I mean by that is, if you have a lot of holiday functions and parties, there's just going to be so much temptation and you're not able to, control yourself. You don't think you're going to have discipline and you don't have to attend them all. People won't feel slighted or you won't offend anyone. Then I say don't attend them all. Pick the most important holiday functions, show your face, do what you have to do, enjoy yourself, but don't attend all of them. Another thing you can do is to eat healthier at most of them. So if you have to go to 5 or 6 functions, maybe 4 of them, you do the best you can. You eat more greens, you stay away from the sugary stuff, you eat as clean as you can. And then it's a couple that you indulge a little bit. It's okay to have a little bit, but a lot of times when you overindulge, then all sense of discipline and control kind of goes out the window. So for the most part, pick your spots, don't attend them all. Or if you have to attend them all, have a game plan of you eating as healthy as you can at most of them, and then indulging a little bit, enjoying yourself, having, a little bit of those things that maybe you wouldn't eat most of the time where you shouldn't. It's okay to indulge a little bit. But for the most part, if most of the holiday parties that you're going to, you're doing the best that you can in terms of eating clean, then you're well ahead of, having a very successful holiday season, or one that you don't walk away from feeling guilty. Okay. Tip number 2 on how to survive the holiday season is to incorporate or sustain healthy habits now. And what I mean by that is, just because during this time of year, you're eating a lot of decadent stuff, a lot of sugary things are available. Not that you're eating them, but these things are so readily available that they're in the office when you walk in. They're at holiday parties. They're at family functions. So you sometimes throw the baby out with the bathwater, right? You can still incorporate healthy habits no matter how large or small you can still incorporate things now. Don't wait till the New Year's resolution or when everything seems, at the perfect time and there's no obstacles, there's no resistance, you're not overwhelmed. You want to start implementing something now. There's no perfect scenario in terms of when to improve your health. You just want to take responsibility for it, and you want to start incorporating these habits now. So whether it's drinking more water or some form of physical exercise, whether you join a gym, you walk around your block, you go to the park and you walk, you bundle up if it's too cold outside and you walk, you do something on demand, some type of workout video you can do online or what have you. You just find some way to exercise. You begin to meditate more frequently because emotional eating stems from stress. So if you find ways to alleviate your stress, then the emotional eating, you can control that, right? So you want to start incorporating healthy habits now. And if you already have them, don't throw them away just because you feel like you're falling off. Really fight hard to sustain these healthy habits because it's all about a lifestyle. It's not a timing. The time is now to be healthy, right? And it's about taking small actionable steps, and those small steps will begin to add up into healthy habits. Okay. Tip number 3 on how to survive the holidays is to step up your holiday recipes, right? I recently had a client reach out to me. She was hosting the holidays this year, Thanksgiving, or she was just hosting that holiday because her family was coming together. And it was her turn to, she had to prepare foods, but there was some dietary restrictions with some of her guests. And she was a little overwhelmed. Like, what do I do? What do I do? What do I make? And when I spoke to her, I just said, you know what you can do? You can take a dish that you already know how to make and swap out the harmful ingredients to healthier ones. And we do that with a lot of our clients. I also recommend it to our client because she is a member of our private health community. And we have recipes in our recipe library and our food library. And I told her to visit there because all the recipes in there, we swap out. We utilize, really good quality ingredients so that when you eat the recipes, whether it's dessert, breakfast, lunch, dinner, you feel great when you eat them. And I had suggested just find a recipe that you like and swap out the harmful ingredients for ones that are better or more healthy. And, she said that really helped and it took the overwhelm away. If you tend to eat things that the next day you feel guilty and, you wish you didn't eat it, like you don't want to feel that way during this time of year, right? So, either learn new recipes or, the recipes that you already know how to make, step it up. And if you don't know how to cook, because that's where I came from, I was not a good cook. When I turned my health around, get a nice recipe book, or a cookbook, or, you can join our private health community and check out our food library and just start learning how to make healthier foods that still taste delicious and that you could have, especially during this time of year. Tip number 4 on how to survive the holiday season is redefining what this time of year means to you. If you every year, every holiday season, for the most part, at the end, you don't feel good. You're like, I got to get back on track, or, you want to, do better during this time of year. Well, one way is to redefine what this time of year means. Maybe it's not centered so much around food. A lot of times people kind of fall into the clutches of the holiday shopping, driving by the mall. Some people love it, but to me, it's so stressful. I worked in the mall through high school and college, and I'm telling you, like, the energy in that mall is just crazy. I mean, I know the businesses love it, but it's just so crazy and just aggressive. And it's not my cup of tea. I tend to try to shop online or just stay away from crowds altogether, because the holiday season is really about connecting with family and loved ones, about reflection and community and helping those in need. It's so much more than stress. Right? And maybe redefining what this time of year means can help you with that, getting away from the food aspect and finding some other things that you can channel your energies into. The next tip on how to survive the holiday season is not to be so hard on yourself, right? If we could hear the messages that we say to ourselves in our mind, we would probably never say it to our worst enemy, right? So we have to really be easy on ourselves and not be so hard on ourselves. You may slip a little during this time of year if you're doing a program and you really want to see health success, and you might slip a little. It's just, the discipline isn't there, or you were just put into a bad situation. You were starving, whatever the reason is, even though you may slip a little, that's okay, because you can always get back on track the next day, right? And as I mentioned before, success does not happen in a straight line. There's going to be resistance. There's going to be obstacles. You're going to have doubts and fears and frustration. There's going to be overwhelm. And that's okay, because all these, negative things, if you look at it in that way, they're there for a reason, because you cannot remain the same person and achieve your health goals. There's going to have to be some growth. There's going to have to be some new discipline, new habits formed, and all these things that I mentioned, this resistance that you're going to face is to help you grow into the person you need to become to reach your health goals. And when you reach them, it'll be so much sweeter and it'll feel so much better, because you put into the work for the necessary changes, for the changes in the person that you need to become in order to reach your health goals. And the last tip that I have on how to survive the holiday season is to simply reboot yourself after the holidays. And this is a very common thing that most people do. And I'm not saying this from a standpoint of let yourself go and then just recoup in January, because honestly, that never really works. A lot of people struggle when they do that. Like, you might do a detox early in the year, but if you don't establish those healthy habits and patterns, it's so easy to relapse after your detox. And I've certainly have seen that time and time again. But going into the new year, going into the winter, we always talk about the shifts in the seasons. And so going into January, you definitely want to do a winter detox, and as I mentioned in our previous episode, the last two, I believe, we've just released our line of customized detox programs. I will list that link in the show notes of this episode as well. But doing a detox after the holidays is a great way to kind of set the stage for healthy habits. We definitely, are advocates of detoxing when done properly, but we never want to, say detoxing is good where you can just like totally let yourself go and then do a detox. And that's a cycle of, that you want to follow, because detoxing is living holistically. It's certain things that are done on a cycle basis throughout the year to kind of keep you on track. So definitely going into the winter after the holiday season, doing some type of winter detox would also help your body and help you to kind of stay on track or to get yourself on track. Okay. Another thing you can do to reboot your system or reboot yourself is to work with a health professional. Because it's one thing to say you want to be healthy, but that's such a general term, and everyone's health journey is different, right? There's no one diet, there's no one detox, there's no one way for everyone to get healthy. There's certain common underlying factors, of course, but everyone's health journey, depending on your health, is different in the health imbalances that you may be experiencing. So when you work with a qualified health professional, they can kind of give you clarity on what's going on with your body and what you need to do in order to reach your health goals. And also a health professional, when you work with them on a more one-on-one basis, will give you that accountability and support along the way to help you to reach your health goals. And we incorporate that at our Wellness Center, Life, Strength, and Health, where we call them our check-in visits, where we meet with you every 2 weeks, once a month, every week. It all depends on the amount of support and accountability that you need. But definitely working with a health professional is going to help you get clear on what you need to do and give you the steps necessary for you to reach your health goals, and also give you that accountability and support if you need that. Okay. So those are my tips on how to survive the holidays And I hope you got value from this week's episode. And remember, this time of year, it's really about connecting. It's about gratitude, giving thanks, helping others, serving others, really reflecting on the past year and thinking about what you want to accomplish in the next year, right? But just try to put a positive spin on this time of year. Don't get sucked into the whole hustle and bustle of the holiday shopping. Like really take it down, really assess what's going on in your life. You know what? Because at the end of the day, it's really about living our best lives, right? It's really about being happy and fulfilled and grateful and whole. And what does that really mean for you? And make sure to enjoy your holiday season. But I don't want you to go through your holiday season and get through it on the other side with guilt and shame and feeling like you're not enough, because it's really not about that. So enjoy yourselves, indulge in some of those things, but don't make it a habit, right? Incorporate those healthy habits, those healthy lifestyle habits. Redefine what this time of year means for you. Reflect on how your year went. What were the pros and cons? What can you do better? What do you want to do going forward in the new year, right? This is what this time of year is about, and also serving others. So once again, thank you for listening to this week's episode. Hopefully you received value from it. And for access to the show notes pages, as well as learning more about our wellness center, Life Strength and Health, about our detox programs, our private health community, and the other services that we offer, just go to lifestrengthandhealth.com/103. Okay, so stay tuned for the next episode. And until next time, live healthier.